Okay, this rant video needs to happen because I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm a little cross-eyed or lazy, whatever. Fuck it. Fuck the eyes right now. This video needs to happen. I'm tired of the bullshit. We not finna keep pretending like Kerby Joseph is not the best safety in the league. And that's not me speaking as a Lions fan. This is me being objectively true. I just seen the All Pro list came out. I wasn't gonna say shit if he was All Pro, but now it needs to be said. Kerby Joseph was the best player in the league, and Matthew Stafford has. And I'm Matthew Stafford is my favorite player of all time. He is tarnished. He has tarnished Kerby Joseph's not well, yeah, his legacy too, but his reputation. He has tarnished Kerby Joseph's reputation. Mind you, what I want to point out with Matthew Stafford. Let's address the facts. When Kerby Joseph made that hit, raise your hand if you watched the film. What Matthew Stafford won't tell you is what he said on that tape was true. He did see that hit during, like he said, he saw it during film. It came up during film. That is true. What Stafford's not going to tell you is Stafford actually led Tyler Higbee into Kerby Joseph's path. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you said you saw something on film. You still led the nigga into his path. And your player got hurt. Now let's talk about Tyler Higbee actually getting hurt. One, Tyler Higbee's foot was already planted in the turf. So that's a double whammy. One, his foot is already planted. Two, they're playing on turf. Three, your quarterback led you into the same hit that he said he saw on tape. And it was a legal hit. It was how the NFL tells them to hit. And he wasn't fined, nor was he penalized for that hit. Same thing with TJ. And actually, TJ came out and placed blame on the league and not Kerby Joseph for that exact same hit that TJ got injured on. Everybody makes that same hit on the league. I don't need to keep beating a dead horse when it comes to this hit. But I feel like it's gotten to a point where we need to now address it, because if we're going to ruin people's reputations and careers and legacies over a legal hit, then maybe the NFL needs to revisit how we are tackling and how we are hitting people, because you have your players and coaches thinking that something that they are taught at every level at DB how to perform this hit. They're being sorry. They're now being penalized and not voted for awards because how it looks, because of the optics of it. Because you got a quarterback in LA making a stupid amount of money, getting emotional over a hospital ball that he threw. But beyond that, let's talk about things that Kerby Joseph led in the league versus Xavier McKinney. Kerby Joseph led the league in picks. Kerby Joseph had the lowest completion percentage allowed. Kerby Joseph had the least amount of completions allowed in the league. Kerby Joseph had the lowest EPA allowed in the league. Kerby Joseph had the highest QB, or not QB grade, but he had the highest coverage grade in the league. Kerby Joseph had the highest coverage grade in the league. Kerby Joseph was the highest graded safety in the league. Xavier McKinney didn't have a pick. Kerby Joseph had a pick, or Xavier McKinney didn't have a pick six. Kerby Joseph had a pick six. Xavier McKinney didn't beat the Lions. Kerby Joseph swept the Packers. So I'm just confused as to if Kerby Joseph led in all of these different categories. And it's not just on PFF. You can go to Pro Football Reference. You can go to ESPN. You can go to the All 22. Wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to look. Kerby Joseph outplayed Xavier McKinney. And he's been snubbed from the All Pro and Pro Bowl. What is it that Kerby Joseph needs to do? What is it that Kerby Joseph needs to do to get credit for what should have been a Pro Bowl, first team All Pro, and Defensive Player of the Year season? What does he need to do? What does he need to do? Oh, another stat. Kerby Joseph versus Xavier McKinney. Kerby Joseph all year didn't have a penalty called on him. The one that was called on him was offset, so it didn't count. Xavier McKinney has one. The last, as of this recording, the last one that I looked at, Xavier McKinney had one. Kerby Joseph had 0. He had 0 penalty yards. What is it that we're not being honest about Kerby Joseph? We are not being honest about Kerby Joseph. And it's irritating because he just had he just had objectively one of the greatest seasons by any safety in the league. But he's somehow being overshadowed by Xavier McKinney, and I just don't understand it. What more does he need to do? I don't know. Like and he didn't give up a touchdown all year. Like, what more do we need to see from Kerby Joseph? What more is it that we need to see? Name it. Because from what I'm seeing on the film and statistically, what more is it that man can possibly do that would convince you people to believe that he is far and away the best safety in the league? Because it's not close. Another thing I want to address. The people that keep saying, oh, Brian Branch is arguably the best safety in the league. And I think that's what it is. I think Kerby Joseph's play is being overshadowed by the fact that he plays with Brian Branch, which is not fair to Kerby Joseph, because in a lot of cases, Kerby Joseph is actually the one bailing out Brian Branch. And that's not to say Brian Branch is bad, but that just is what it is. Brian Branch shows up a lot more in the stat sheet because we blitz him more. We blitz Brian Branch because he's a strong safety. Strong safeties are supposed to be blitzed. You're rarely ever in any in any defensive formation, you're rarely ever going to see a free safety being blitzed. It just doesn't happen. So if it's the fumbles that's keeping him, or that's like swaying people's opinions, then that's out of his control, because that is a scheme issue. We don't blitz our free safeties, and in most defensive schemes, you're not going to see a free safety being blitzed. It's just not how the league works. I have no words, bro. Like, I was pissed off. I was real mad about it weeks ago, last month. Now I'm disappointed. I don't know. I genuinely do not understand what Kerby Joseph has done to you people, and what he needs to do in order to get the recognition that he deserves. Vikings fans want to keep pretending like Kerby Joseph is just, oh, this dirty ass player, and that's just not true. Like, and my issue with players, coaches, and fans, is we're not being objective. Pro Bowl, okay, cool. That's a fan vote, or that's a popular. It's supposed to be a popularity contest. Cool, you don't fucking like them. Oh, fucking well. But like, all pro is supposed to be one of those things where we're being objective, and we're not being objective anymore. We aren't being objective anymore, and that sucks to see. Because players, coaches, and fans are getting mad at a player for playing at the highest level at his position per the, at the request of the NFL, how it's supposed to be played. And what really bothers me about this is I just saw this. I mean, I'm just seeing Glover Quinn Part 2 happen. I'm seeing Glover Quinn 2.0 happen again, where Cam Chancellor constantly he constantly just kept getting in and kept getting these awards over Glover Quinn, despite Glover Quinn having the better year. Cam Chancellor, for example, there were other safeties as well, but like Glover Quinn, I mean, he was always balling. I mean, pick six, turnovers, baiting people, coming up, hitting, bailing people out, making, playing the true free safety position, being a last minute line of defense, making a touchdown saving play, making a game saving play, getting a turnover when we need it. Is that not, am I not describing Kerby Joseph? And, Glover Quinn, he only made the one Pro Bowl. He never went back. Glover Quinn never went back to the Pro Bowl. Now, that could be a combination of things. One, I think it's players just didn't know who he was. That's true. Coaches knew, but players didn't. You knew when you had to play him. Oh, yeah, that guy y'all got over there, 27, yeah, he a baller. I don't, I really don't know. I don't know. Because even the one Pro Bowl Glover Quinn made, he led the league in interceptions. He had to lead the league in interceptions to make the Pro Bowl. And then he never made it again. And then it's people and players who finished the year with like 3 picks and make the Pro Bowl. An all pro team. And he would have 4 or 5 fumble recovery, sack, 2 sacks, sack and a half. Bro, I'm watching Glover Quinn Part 2 happen. I really don't. Man. And here, I'll actually, cause I track every safeties, cause safety is my favorite position on the field. If you couldn't tell, of all the positions on in the league, safety is my favorite position. I tracked every safety's season for the year, and the reason I started doing this was because Madden had they were updating Kerby Joseph's rating, and it just so happened to come across my timeline on Twitter, and I was like, well, that's lowest, like that it like I'm glad he's getting a higher rating, but that's already low. So I then went to see what his original rating was, and it was disrespectful. So then I was like, just out of curiosity, let's look at what these other safeties were graded as. Or let's see what their rating was. So I took a look at their ratings. Significantly higher. So I said, okay, before I make a comment, let's go safety by safety, free and strong, free, strong, and box. Maybe it's something I'm not understanding. Let's take a look at each safety case by case and compare them to Kerby Joseph. When I tell you the closest it got was Xavier McKinney, and that shit wasn't even close. His closest competition was Xavier McKinney, and there was a huge noticeable gap between those two players. So imagine what it was like for everybody else. I'm talking about Kerby Joseph was graded 20 to 15 to 20 points higher than the next closest person at the time that I did that shit. I will say this though. I know what's inflating. It's not inflating. It's what's deflating. I know what's deflating Kerby Joseph's reputation. It's the fact that everybody keeps saying that the Lions have a bad defense. And it's a double-edged sword because you have Dan Campbell and the players saying, oh, well, we're not using injuries as an excuse. We just have to go compete, which is true. But on the flip side of that, they know deep down inside that, yes, injuries are a huge part and they do play a huge factor and they do matter. It's just that they're not going to let that stop them from winning. And they're not going to let injuries control their destiny, which I commend them for. But it hurts players like Kerby Joseph who are already overlooked and are now being further overlooked because they're just writing off the whole Lions defense. That whole defense is bad. Well, no, that's not true. Let's take it case by case. We lost Aiden. Everybody knows we lost Aiden Hutchinson, the consensus defensive player of the year, he was going to be. But it seems to be like people heard we lost Aiden and was like, oh, well, they lost Aiden. And then they just had, some other no-name injuries. Let me put this into perspective for you. We lost the defensive player of the year. We lost our D tackle next to him, who was one of the top 10 best D tackles in the league statistically. And if you cut on the film, so we lost DN1, DT1 for the year. Aiden broke his leg. Aleem tore his ACL. Both top 10, top 5 in a lot of categories, but top 10 graded in their positions. So boom, DN1, DN2 are injured. Kaminsky got injured in the offseason. So there's DN3. Marcus Davenport tore his triceps. There goes DN2. Pecco tore his pec. There goes DT3. Makai Wingo, who was playing D end and D tackle, tore his ACL, out for the year. Derek Barnes, who everybody remembers, who non-Lions fans remember for getting the game-sealing interception versus the Buccaneers, who would have been a Pro Bowl player this year, tore his ACL, out for the year versus the Cardinals. Or a correction, he didn't tear his ACL. He tore his MCL and PCL, out for the year versus the Cardinals. Alex Anzalone, broken fucking arm, out for 7 weeks. Malcolm Rodriguez comes in to replace them, tears his ACL, out for the year. JRN came in for them, neck injury, out for the year. I think he was out for like 5 weeks, and then he eventually came back. But JRM out on IR. So that's what? Three? That's no, that's four linebackers I named. They were all on IR at the same time. That's the LB 1, 2, 3, and 4. All on IR. Correction. That's LB 1, 2, 4, and 5 because Jack was the 3. Jack and Derrick Barnes were splitting. They were splitting time before Derrick Barnes got injured. So again, that's four starting linebackers all injured. Okay. DNs, we've lost three DNs, all injured. Three starting DNs, all injured. Keep this in mind. So we've lost four starting linebackers, three starting DNs, two starting D tackles. Okay, let's keep it going. Carlton Davis breaks his fucking jaw. So cornerback one out for the year. Khalil Dorsey literally comes in that exact same game, breaks his fucking leg, out for the year. Why didn't we have Ennis Rakestraw? Because he fucked up his hamstring, out for the year. That is three corners out for the year. Where was Iffy? He had a he had an ankle injury to start the year, was on IR, out for the year. Came off of IR, went back on IR with a hand injury. Iffy's first game of the year was that Viking, or it wasn't the Vikings game. It was the Niners game. So Iffy, out of 17 possible games, has only played 2. So that's 4 DBs, 4 linebackers. Oh, not even to mention against the Bills, we didn't have Trevor Nowatzki, or it was either Trevor Nowatzki or Ben Neiman. I think it was Trevor Nowatzki though. Concussion. So that's 5 linebackers. 5. All 5 started. 5. Wrap your head around it. 5 linebackers, all out. 4 on IR. 5 linebackers out, 4 on IR. 3 D tackles out. 3 defensive ends out. All starters. All started. Minus Kaminsky, who would have started. And I don't know, bro. So with all those injuries, I keep seeing people, oh, that Lions defense is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Can we start? I mean, yeah, everybody knows it's bad. But why is it bad? Is it because Kerby Joseph is just back there getting cooked? No. Because when we needed to win that 49ers game, he got those 2 picks. What I will give you is one of those picks was just a really bad ball by Purdy. That second one, he got baited on. Or it might have been the first one. What people like to forget about that game was before he got that first interception, Kerby had actually already picked him off. It was a flag on the play on Branch. The nigga everybody keeps swearing up and down is the best safety in the league, best safety on the team, better than Kerby Joseph. He's not. Brian Branch was actually the person that got called for that penalty that negated that pick that Kerby Joseph had. Kerby Joseph didn't complain. He went right back and got it again. That same drive. What did he do drives later? Got another one. I don't know what we need to. I don't know what he can do. I don't know what he should do. Because I'm not going to tell Kerby Joseph to tackle different when every DB tackles literally the exact same. I'm not going to tell him to do that. I'm not going. He it's not like he talks shit. I keep seeing dumbass fucking Niners and Vikings fans say against the 49ers, Kerby Joseph punched somebody. He didn't punch anybody. What he did was he pushed that nigga. Yeah, he pushed him. But let that have been any other player, it would have been fine. If let's say Jair Alexander was a rookie and Amon-Ra St. Brown is bullying him on the block and he trying to push him into the dirt. And Xavier McKinney comes and pushes him. Hey, don't mess with my rook. Push him. Boom. What we call Xavier McKinney dirty? No. Why wouldn't we call Xavier McKinney dirty? Because that is what you want out of a leader. That is what you want out of your safety. That's what you want. You want your vets to stick up for their rookies. Why is it dirty when Kerby Joseph do it? Because Stafford has led people to believe that he is a dirty player after Stafford identified something on film. He led his player into that direction. His player planted his foot. Kerby Joseph made a play. And his player got injured. Stafford threw a hospital ball. Oop. Bro, why the fuck did that just happen? I'll play y'all. But Stafford threw a hospital ball, and now Kerby Joseph is his entire career is being penalized for it. Is Kerby Joseph gonna lead the league in interceptions next year? No. What I have a feeling is gonna happen is people are gonna realize that he was so disrespected this year, and they're gonna correct it next year. But what the fuck does it matter next year? You can't. It's rare to even be the leader to lead the league in interceptions. It's even rarer to repeat that. It's even rarer to repeat that when you led the league in lowest completion percentage allowed, lowest QBR allowed, lowest completions allowed, no touchdowns allowed, no penalties called on you, lowest EPA allowed, like highest coverage grade, highest graded safety in the league, pick six, like that is hard to repeat. I don't know. I hate that. This is the this this is the part of the NFL I hate. I've hated it for a while, but this shit is noticeably bad. It's noticeably bad. I it oh my god, this shit drives me crazy, bro. Like literally, there is nothing that Xavier McKinney did better than Kerby Joseph this year. And that's not even to say Xavier McKinney wasn't a good player. That's factually speaking. The only thing he had more of than Kerby Joseph was sacks, and I've already told y'all, free safeties aren't blitzed in the NFL or in any defensive scheme for that matter. It rarely ever happens. So that's just not going to happen a lot. And even when we do blitz a free safety, it's never Kerby Joseph, and it's always a Fatu Melifanu, which we've now started doing again. If you watched, yeah, when we blitz, it's Iffy up there being blitzed. It's Branch and Iffy up there being blitzed. It's not Kerby Joseph. It's not because he can't do it. It's because Kerby Joseph is better at baiting quarterbacks into making bad decisions or forcing quarterbacks into making the passes that we want them to make. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Like let's actually have a real conversation about this because like they're just I mean, there almost doesn't need to be a conversation. There's nothing that like legit that I like you can't find outside of that and maybe tackling, which the last time I checked, Xavier McKinney only had 7 more tackles than Kerby Joseph. Outside of those two things, you find me, you find me any, you find it. You find the thing that tells me Xavier McKinney is better than Kerby Joseph, and I'll shut the fuck up forever.